Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to introduce some complex topics and some videos and my own personal life experiences to talk about the topic of ascension, awakening, karmic relationships or soulmate level relationships, and the repercussions people might have in their life when they are going through a ascension awakening phase but don't realize that they might be going through a ascension awakening related phase. And those who have been seeing videos in recent years possibly related to ascension and awakening, they might have had experiences where they could have found all these. There are many websites which talk about the physical health symptoms a person can go through when they are going through a ascension and awakening journey. And though most people don't realize this, but illness, job loss, burnout, relationship breakups, these are also part of ascension and awakening journey. And along with the physical symptoms, our social life, socioeconomic life, our marital life, our family life, these are also parts that can break down, fall apart during ascension and awakening if we have elements in our life that are not going to be for our benefit in our future. And the breakdown can be really devastating breakdown, like how it is happening in California with the California fires, or how it happens when people face job loss, or how it can happen when partners cheated and there were divorce happening in the relationship. Or in my case, I am going through some spiritual problems, as well as family problems, as well as practical problems. I also went through burnout problems, and also I have in recent years got symptoms of cancer, but I've been going through phases where I was not getting the cancer diagnosis because of the other background problems of my life. Because even if I get the diagnosis, I can't get good treatment or good therapy or good supportive care if right conditions are not present for that therapy. And I have chosen this journey as part of my ascension because of what work I have done in the past, because of what things other people around me have to do when someone is going through a ascension symptom or healthcare problem or social or socioeconomic challenge, and also because of what is to manifest in the future of humanity's life for anyone who has to learn now from the experiences related to ascension of others and their own ascension journeys pathways. So it's a very complex topic, and it has multiple elements again associated with it, but hopefully I'll be able to break down this topic into smaller bits to give people the context of what the hell am I talking about. So for the simple ascension videos and ascension symptom related videos, but not simply the ascension where you're just getting a flu like symptom, and then after you have heard some videos which says these are ascension symptoms, you did some energy healing, you did some home remedy, you went to the doctor and took some medicine, you took a few days of rest and you got well. That is the first stage of ascension, first few years of ascension symptoms, when milder things are going on with you, when milder physical health symptoms are showing up. That is what many ascension videos, many essential related spiritual healers have spoken about in the past related to ascension and awakening symptoms. They have written about it, and you can read about it. If you are spiritually awakening, it will slowly these kind of videos and information will start coming up more into your view, so that you can get familiar with that topic. And also, when we are at a baby stage of ascension, like we are at the kindergarten stage, the symptoms you will experience is some minor physical health symptoms, some symptoms which with minor treatment, minor known and new modalities of treatment will be easily resolvable for you. That is when you are in the first stages of ascension, beginning awakening stages, and in a baby like stage, in a preschool or first standard like stage of ascension. But then comes the next stage of ascension, which is what happened to me in many of my spiritual insights videos, past whatever past life related topics I am uh, talking about, and my current life related topics I'm talking about in those videos. They're all videos related to the midlife or middle school stage of ascension and awakening, where now the ascension symptoms aren't easily treatable by just medicine or just energy healing or just doing exercise or just doing yoga or just going to a spiritual retreat or listening to a spiritual teacher. That level of ascension awareness helps you when you are in the primary school stages. But when you have to now graduate into the next stage of ascension, a little more challenges will show up in your life. And this little more challenges of the mid school level, high school level of ascension stages means that now your ascension symptoms aren't simply minor health symptom. What was just a minor health symptom 4 years back, 10 years back, could have now escalated into a moderate level or major disease for someone. For someone, what was a minor level family issue with their partners could have escalated into a major level issue with their partners. For some, what the partners considered or the person themselves were considering as laziness could have now escalated into cancer. What someone else is assuming that it is their normal depression related symptom, or people outside the person's own realm of influence, like their, if strangers are listening to you talk about your life problems, health problems, what strangers or even therapists, those therapists who are not ascension ready therapists, normal therapists, if they meet a patient, they might think that the patient is depressed, but when actually something more than depression is going around. What your partners might think that you are depressed, you are lazy, you are having a abusive relationship, when again, instead of whatever your partners or family is thinking about you, there is actually something else going on in your middle school, high school stage of ascension that you are not aware about. And to address that level of ascension work, please check out my past videos that were posted 3-4 years back, which has Ganesha and Hindu gods pictures in images there, because that is or even the Jesus Christ related pictures are there in some of my videos. These are all the Jesus Christ videos are about spiritual ascension related topics, and the Ganesh and Indian Hindu god related ascension videos are about physical health related challenges or life related ascension challenges that will show up in people's life. And this video is actually about not just high school level ascension challenge, but university level of ascension challenge, grand scale level and cosmic level of ascension challenge that some people are going to take up in their lives, because they are either meant to survive through it or they are going to die after taking that challenge, because that is the only two paths left for them based on what the karmic and soulmate related choices other people associated in their life with karmically doing something with them, with working on ascension related topics with them, where if they wake up, if other people wake up to their responsibility, their spiritual paths awareness opens up, then some people will survive. But if their spiritual path doesn't open up with the people it was meant to open up with, then instead some of those people might even end up dying. So this girl, the lady, first video is of a girl or a story where the husband is saying that he was in a marriage where for a while his wife was not able to do any normal chores in her home life, and she was not focusing on doing home chores. Now, being a wife, if you are a wife, you many a times in modern marriages or even in traditional marriages, irrespective of which century's marriage it is, it could be a marriage of 50 years old marriage or 20 years old marriage or even a new marriage of 2-3 years, every kind of marriage that exists currently on earth, most marriages expect that if the woman is physically fit and physically healthy, most marriages have women doing a major share of the home caretaking activities and responsibilities in their marriage. Majority of them. There are some marriages where equitable sharing of housework is done by their partners, and equitable sharing of child caretaking, elderly caretaking, social relationship building, those are equitably taken care by both partners. But there are many, majority of the marriages on earth currently are such marriages where women take the major brunt of social relationships, of connecting with other friends and family, of keeping in touch with other friends and family, of taking care of children if they have children, of taking care of household chores when normal household things like cooking and cleaning of the home, cleaning of the bathroom, cleaning of the rooms, cleaning of the closets, all of these things majority of the time, unless they don't, if they don't have equitable partners, majority share of these responsibilities fall on the women and has been falling on women for decades of their life. But there's a difference now in this century, that in this century some women have a lot of outside home responsibilities. Some women also have a sole purpose that is meant to push them to doing a lot of outside home work. So those women, even if they are capable of doing many at home work, many at home chores, many child caretaking related chores and family caretaking related chores, many a times, if you are in the ascension journey, even those women who in the past have been able to do all these things, they'll be shut down by the universe via certain mechanisms from not doing that work, which is what happened to me, and I'll explain it in a few minutes. But let's talk about this women's issue. So this women, and I gave the context that typically most of us, if married to someone, even if not married to someone, you are a daughter living with your parents, or you are a daughter living with your grandparents if your parents have passed away, or you're going and visiting your cousins. Typically, especially in Indian family life, Indian cultural system, I have observed that women are expected to always do more when they are visiting someone, when they are living with someone, when they are in their own homes, living a life with a partner or a family other than partners. But they always expected to do more, be more in terms of caretaking related functions. But at that time, because it is a typical thing, and many women do it, it's not that women are expected to do and they don't do it, that is not true. There are many women who are expected to do it, and if they have been married long enough, they learn these steps of what is expected by their in-laws, what is expected by their partners, what is expected by their in-laws, what will create less fights with their partners if they take up a share of the home caretaking responsibility. Because many women, if you are married to a wise woman, balanced woman, loving women, they will take all the share, and actually sometimes take a majority share of many household chores, many family related responsibilities, many caretaking related chores. If you have pets, plants, children, elderly staying with you, disabled people who need caretaking in your family, things like that. It's a norm that has been going on for centuries. Now, because this is a norm that has been going on for centuries culturally, globally, and very few women are privileged enough to not have this norm be prevalent and predominant in their life. So majority of the women, what is going to happen, they are constantly taking a lot of a brunt of the burden of their families, many aspects, many a times. And then if they are also expected to work and contribute financially at an equal level by their partners, they can sometimes also get overburdened. So which is what possibly could have happened. The story doesn't explain whether this couple had any kids. Let's assume in this couple's history they didn't have any kids, and let's assume they were married only maybe for 5 or 10 years. So during that 5-10 years of marriage, when they didn't have kids, even then, because the woman does a majority of the home caretaking activities, the guy mentions that the wife was not doing those activities, and instead, and again, we don't know whether it was an equitable marriage where the guy was helping her. I'm assuming that because this is a video with the elements that are present in the video, it seems like a Western culture's marriage, like someone in America might have had this kind of a marriage with a partner. So let's assume in America, I have seen some partners bring in a little bit more of equitable housework. Again, still women end up doing majority housework, but let's say if you are living in Asia and in a Asian country, women are possibly expected to do 80% of housework as well as outside housework as well. Whereas in a country like America, women might still take up a higher burden, like 60%, but or 60 to 80%. And sometimes if they have really good fair partners, it's only 50% of the housework is being done by the women. So let's assume that there was only 50% household sharing was being done, where let's say husband loves to clean, so he would do the cleaning activities in the kitchen. Wife likes to keep the bathroom clean, so she does the cleaning activities of the bathroom. Husband and wife both take part in cooking activities, monthly house cleaning activities. Husband and wife both, one does the dusting, other does the vacuuming, someone does the gardening, someone does the inside home things. Like that, if they were in an equitable partnership, that is how household chores might have been distributed. And either that is going on if you're living in a country like America, or if you're living in a country like India, the woman is doing maybe slightly equitable these kind of chores, but the woman has child caretaking, family caretaking, socializing, and financial responsibility related lack of equitability sometimes in their marriage. So these things can crop up in any marriage globally, with some very similar threads going on in their marriages. Now, depending on what kind of marriage you have, some elements of what I'm discussing in this video would be there in your marriage. So now in this guy's case, irrespective of whether he was equitably sharing the chores or the wife was doing 60 to 80% of the home chores, where he observed that his wife is not able to do her regular chores, and instead she started now assigning it to other people. So what other people she could have, if she's not able to do the home caretaking related to cleaning of the bathroom, she might be hiring someone to do the bathroom work. If she was majorly responsible for all the cleaning of monthly cleaning, weekly cleaning of the homes, everything she is now delegating to someone else. If there were some grocery related things that she used to do, now she's not able to do it. Even the grocery things, she's just getting it delivered via Amazon or some online retailer delivering it at home. So she was like delegating everything to now. She's not she's like essentially shutting down her normal functions and doing all these delegating things to other people if she can delegate it. But why is she doing that? The husband never asked her or thought, why is my wife doing this? And even though he observed her, he didn't empathetically observe her, because this similar trend happened with me also, and many people in my family also didn't empathetically observe that my patterns were changing, even though they attributed many of my patterns to past history related behavior of mine. Actually speaking, I was behaving very, very differently, very, very drastically differently from how I used to behave in a past situation. Like, let's say if I was a lazy teenager who didn't know how to make up my bed, but while I was a lazy teenager who didn't know how to make up my bed when I was in my teenage years, when I was living in US as an adult, I wasn't a lazy teenager, and I did know how to make up my bed, and I did keep my home clean in US and in India in my 20s and 30s, when I had grown up, when I had matured, when I had time to devote to these activities, when I was not immature, and when I was in healthy physical state, healthy mental status. I was keeping my room clean, and I'll show a video also where the video shows a room of a woman whose room is completely messy, and the husband is realizing he might have done some therapy. He's awakening to the fact that he needs to do some caretaking of his wife possibly. So he has put this video of what a depressed woman's room will look like, and that is exactly how my room looked like when I was a teen, and I was indeed very depressed as a teen. So for me, it was, while the family is thinking it's laziness, for me it was just my mind was not focused only on keeping my bed clean. My mind went somewhere else entirely. My thoughts were running around in depression related things. Many of them were subconscious depression related things, and at that time when I was a teen, I didn't even know I was depressed, but depression was playing a role in my life even though I didn't know depression was happening. But like how that room was looking like for that woman, 50% of that room status, like my bed used to be like that, the floor didn't used to be like that, because at that point of time I was only mildly teen depression related things were happening with me, but I was unable to make my bed. So, in my home, maybe my parents understood that I was unable to make my bed. So, in my home, I went through many decades of teen years with my parents, where I was facing, like, if not at least half a decade of teen years, where I didn't make my bed, and I don't know who made my bed. I was that preoccupied, because in India we also have really busy student life as a student. So there were many years of my teenage. The 4 years of pharmacy school was like that. 4 years of 9, 10th, 11th, 12th was like that. So about 8 years of my teenage to early 20s, I didn't realize who's doing my bed, who's making my bed when I'm not making my bed. Occasionally my parents would tell me make your bed, but if I didn't make my bed, I think my mom was doing it. Now I realize it. At that time I didn't realize it, because I was that clueless, that preoccupied just studying or hanging out with friends doing normal teen stuff, or watching TV and reading storybooks, my normal entertainment and hobby like things. So I was just being a carefree teenager, and partly carefree teenager, partly depressed teenager. So being a partly carefree and a partly depressed teenager, both was true at that point of time for me. I didn't pay attention when certain household chores were being done by someone else. There were chores that my parents taught us to do, but the bed making thing always used to somehow slip my memory. It just became a very bad habit actually when I was a teen, that I was not doing it. I'm sure my cousins thought that it was a bad habit. So whenever I would visit my cousins, sometimes my grandfather had to literally tell me, can you make your bed, because whatever reason. Because for me, if my bed is not made, I didn't care. I can sleep in a bed that is not made and easily, lie around reading a storybook, doing other things. But obviously, if my bed, and in Calcutta, in winter, in Kolkata, when we were growing up at that time, to prevent mosquitoes from biting us, we used to have mosquito nets on the bed. So the whole bed would be covered with the mosquito net. And what I would do as a teenager who is partly depressed, partly lazy, partly just doing a teen thing, and in 13, 14 years of age, I would not, take away the whole mosquito net, because there's a protocol. You have to fold the mosquito net when you wake up in the morning. You have to make, and then also make the normal bed sheet thing proper, right? But I was not doing it, so my grandfather used to remind me to do that, which was a good thing. I'm glad that he used to remind me to do that. But it is a habit that now I had, which was partly depression, partly teen unawareness, partly maybe laziness as well. So all three were playing a role. As a teen, it was not playing a role, but some time points of my life when I was indeed very lazy, it was indeed playing a role in my not being able to make my bed regularly, my not focusing on making my bed regularly. So this thing is a pattern that I have. So now that I don't make my bed regularly, if people who have seen me in teenage years never came to my home when I was in my 20s, they can assume that I don't know how to make my bed, right? Or people who have never kept in touch with me after I went to US, never came to my home in US, they can also assume that this person is lazy, this person doesn't know how to do it. And at some levels, I'm not a perfect, I'm really bad at making the bed even now. So I'm not at a perfectionist level of making a bed. So because I'm not a perfectionist level of making a bed, my bed making also is sometimes very sloppy. And sometimes if I am really still heavily depressed or still heavily sick, at that time points also I don't make my bed. So like if I have periods and I'm writhing in period pain for 3 days, I'm not going to make my bed for someone else's comfort, because I just don't have the energy. So if someone else doesn't make the bed for me, it doesn't get made. Or I went through a very heavy physically challenging phase of 4 years where even simple walking was a difficult activity for me. So when I was not able to walk also simply to the grocery store to buy groceries for myself, or simply to the clothes store or vegetable store to get something for myself, and I'm ordering everything online, majority of my purchases are happening online. And when in previous years, previous decades, in my 20s and 30s, I used to be someone who used to go for 1 hour walks, who has gone to the gym for 1 hours, who, having lived in US and most of the time by myself, without any roommates, without any partners, or without any partners who were involved in any joint caretaking related activities. These were the lifestyle I led for 13 years in US. And at those time points, except for a few years when I had friends who were we were jointly sharing some shopping activities together, other than those friends with whom I used to sometimes go grocery shopping together as a group, because we would have one car, 4 students would take use a carpool in that car. 4 students from 4 different households would go and buy groceries for their 4 different households, meaning those same 4 students were living in 4 different flats with other 2-3 other roommates. So the people were doing grocery shopping for 4-5 people together at the same time. That kind of shared joint activities we used to do in first few years of US life. But after that, whenever I didn't have those kind of roommates, or I was living by myself majority of the time without any roommates. So for at least 10-11 years of my life in US, I had no one doing any chores for me. So if my bed doesn't get cleaned, it is my job. If my clothes don't get cleaned, it is going to be my problem. If there is no one, if I am hungry, I have periods and I am in severe pain, and I live in a place where no home delivery is offered at the night time for food or anything, I go hungry, or I eat something that is barely barely something like a snack is present in the home, I will eat the snack and that's it, and sleep that day, because I didn't go to grocery shopping because I was sick, I had periods, or I was busy with work, or I had something else going on. So whatever it is, when I do the chores, it helps me. When I don't do the chores, it doesn't help me, right? So when I have lived a life like that for decades of my life, where no one, and people who live in India don't understand this problem about US, because you don't understand, in US you don't have maids most of the time. You're not that rich that to afford someone to drop things for you at your doorstep. You are not living in a major city of US sometimes. So if you're living in a small town of US, you have to do everything by yourself. Even if you don't live in a small town, if you are not living with many other people, there's no one to do any chore taking, chore sharing for you. And then if you even date someone, if they are lazy boyfriends, or boyfriends who don't understand that they also have to take up some house caretaking chores, they're never going to do anything. So in all the relationships I had, the one caretaking chore that I would do for them was I would occasionally do their laundry for them along with my own laundry if I was staying with them in their homes, right? And sometimes I would occasionally cook in their homes. But when it came to them doing any of those kind of shared joint chore related caretaking in my homes, never did they do anything like that. Neither did they help with even simple financial thing like paying for the grocery while they are eating at my home, partly paying for the grocery, partly buying some food to come and cook at my home. Nothing. So most of the time, every financial responsibility to adulting related responsibility I did by myself all the time for at least 10 years in US and 2 years in India, 2 to 4 years in India. But despite that, there are people who ascribe women, when women are not able to do that same level of work that they have done as an adult for many decades of their life, people start assuming that woman is a lazy woman, when the reality is going to be something different. And which is what transpired in this lady's story, that she was actually developing cancer in her body. and the husband found out that she had cancer after they had separated, after she was near death. And in this story it is showing that the wife died even though the husband tried to help her during the last few days before her death. She eventually ended up dying. But why? That why, the why of that, the same why I had to ask when I was falling sick, like in a debilitating status of sickness. I had to ask that same why, and this is the answer I found, and this is the answer the man needs to understand, or anyone who has a partner who is going into similar trajectory journey like this woman. It could be a man, it could be a woman, it could be a child, it could be an elderly, anyone in your home. When they have started showing these kind of patterns in their behavior, where earlier they used to be very physically fit and agile and physically able to help you out with many chores in the home life, but now they are not able to help you, now they are not doing it. Do not assume that they are being lazy, even if they are. And in this man's case, he saw that she was ascribing, was she actually lazy if she has delegated the work to some other hired help? Think about it. She's not lazy if instead of her doing that work, if she has delegated that work to someone else and she hasn't burdened her partner into doing those house caretaking activities, or if she did indeed ask her partner to take some share of the activities that she's not able to do anymore. Is it a fair thing, like if the women for 20 years or 5 years or 10 years of their marriage used to do 80% of the household chores, 60% of the household chores, and for some reason she's asking the husband, can you do now another 10% extra, so that her burden gets reduced to 50, gets reduced to 70, and then with that 50% 70% burden, half of it she's possibly still doing, but the other half she's now delegating it to someone delivering food, someone cleaning the home, cleaning the bathroom, mowing the lawn, whatever she was doing that she's now not doing anymore in the home, someone cooking for them, all these things she could have been delegating. So, and while she was delegating it, he observed that she was watching a lot of online videos and spending a lot of time in the computer instead. But why will she do that? And that is something I also did. When I am not, why will you do that when you're not physically able to do something? Why are you still watching videos? Am I a dead human being? No, right? I'm still alive. So when I'm still alive, but if I am not able to do my normal physical activity, where if I love to walk outside in the park for half an hour and now I'm not able to walk out in the park, I'm too tired. But instead, what can I do? I can watch a video of someone enjoying a stroll in the park and vicariously live through them and get a very superficial energy, but a needed energy of seeing greenery, which I love to see when I actually walk out in the park. Or I used to love going out in my neighborhood and walking in my neighborhood, and while walking, if I had stray animals, I would feed stray animals. If there were birds around in my balcony, sometimes I would sit in the balcony and chatter with the birds. These things I used to do on physically, because I have a physical status where I could get up, walk to my balcony, walk outside on the roads, chit chat with the sometimes I would chat with the elderly, sometimes I would chat with strangers, sometimes when doing grocery shopping I would chat with people in the store. So all these things I was doing. I like interacting with people. I am an interactive human being. I would go out, like if I want to buy potted plants, I would go to the local market, talk to them, buy something from them. I have even carried like a 10 kg 2 kg heavy groceries and everything for by myself for many years. That was my physical status level, where 10 kgs of things, 20 30 kgs of suitcases. I have traveled by myself alone also many a times. So 20 kgs of suitcase also I have carried by myself without any help, because I didn't have a partner, I didn't have any family traveling with me many a times. I was only traveling by myself. Even if I did travel with my family is the kind, they never offer help in carrying goods, so because of their own health issues and other challenges. So many times I have carried like 10 kgs 20 kgs by myself without anyone helping me. And despite having that level physical fitness, that kind of lifestyle, where I have majorly taken part of all the chores in my own home life by myself, Maybe it was not at the optimum level, but it was at a at least manageable level. Work that I was doing that kept my home clean, that kept my home environment healthy, and a adult like home was present for me. So very unlike that video that is shown here, my home used to be 90% of the time or 80% of the time like a home where that mess was not around anywhere. But there were 20% of the time, 10% of the time, that kind of mess also showed up in my adult life when I was in my 20s and 30s. When I was going through heavy depression, when I was going through abuse in a relationship, when I was with partners who would not help out in even bare minimum ways, where some help was sought out from them but they are not ready to help. I had partners who I knew that how much ever I tell them to do something very simple like throw the trash out, they will not do it. While I was doing all the bathroom cleaning, kitchen cleaning, utensil cleaning, cooking, if cooking was done, and the only thing that they would be ready to take the responsibility of was, instead of cooking at home, let's eat outside. But even in outside eating, some boyfriends would still expect the girlfriend to share the meal, and some would pay for it. The one who wanted to eat a lot all the time with anyone who is ready to eat with him, he would end up paying majority of those meals. But the one who doesn't like to eat at all, for him eating a bare minimum food is enough. He would neither do anything at home life nor do anything outside with equitable sharing of work. So these kind of people, if they are there in your life, you will get stressed out with them in your life, because you are always carrying the majority burden of the relationship in different aspects, and then you can invariably end up getting depressed in those relationships, and which used to start happening to me. The moment I hit there's a quota of depression that I would hit. So until I didn't hit that depression quota, I would be fine. But as soon as I hit that depression quota, or some soul shocking relationship betrayal, or like cheating or something happened, immediately I will hit that betrayal quota, and then I would become not be able to do some of the normal chores. And for me, the one major normal chore that I wouldn't be able to do is making my bed, keeping my table and bedroom environment clean. For me, somehow my bedroom always would become like how that woman's bedroom has now become. And one time, while in that picture, in that video, her bedroom has clothes strewn around on the floor, while for me, clothes have never been strewn around on the floor in my 20s and 30s. At that time point, when clothes were not strewn around, at one time when I was doing the PhD program related work, at that time I had paper strewn around in my room like that. So I had a messy room where my bed was actually neat and tidy, but my floor was filled with papers instead of clothes. So that kind of level of depression I have gone through during the time when my boyfriend broke up with me, where I felt used by that boyfriend, and it immediately came up as this trauma response. So you can say this is a depression or trauma response, that there is too much disturbance going on in my brain. So the disturbance that is going on in my brain, that I am not emotionally acknowledging, or a hurt that I am feeling as a result of the breakup and the sudden breakup trauma that I am facing, that hurt that I'm not able to acknowledge with words, is instead showing up in the form of paper strewn around on the floor, while I'm trying to now study 10 papers, 100 papers for my defense related work. So that happened with me. And but what else happened? This was just when you are traumatized about a breakup, when you are depressed about something not working out with a boyfriend, when you have boyfriends or partners who didn't care for you, and you are tired of taking the responsibility of everything, and on the period days maybe you just can't, you have to give up. On period days also I would give up, because if no one is there to help you, if you are also tired, and if it is an activity no one else can do, like during periods I have such heavy flow that my bed sheets also get spotted repeatedly by blood. So now if the bed sheets now have to be cleaned, if no one is there to help you do that, who is going to do it? If you don't have maids, if you don't hire maids, and if you are sick, you have to wait to clean it up when you are capable of cleaning up those bed sheets. Until then, there is no one to do any work for you. You have to wait. right? So those few occasional random period day phases would also happen when I'm not doing anything, I'm simply vegetating. And for me, I have used my period days as vegetating days nowadays, especially when I have extreme amounts of pain of the threshold level where for it is better for me if I don't do anything. I do not want to move around, I do not want to do anything except just lie around in the bed for hours and hours. And but at that time, is my brain going to stop working? If in fact you have period energy in your body, at that time if you have period energy, you have negative energy in your body, and if you have negative energy, your mind will be active and wanting to do something. It's just that physically your body is completely so wrecked out from pain and other symptoms of periods that you will not be able to do anything at all. So when you're not able to do anything at all but your mind is still actively working, or your voice throat chakra is actively working, what will happen? You might have seen some videos of guys making fun of their mothers, shouting at them and being neurotic and things like that. And while they're making fun of their mothers being neurotic like that and things like that, and it is a fun thing for any viewer who is watching it, but the reality is the mother who is being neurotic like that is being neurotic because even on her period day or on a day when she is falling sick and she needs some help from her partner or her child, the child and the partner are not able to pick up the pace of the normal work that she is doing. Meaning, if on normal days she does cooking, cleaning, everything is done by her in her home. She is a housewife and she does 100% of the house caretaking needs. On the period day, even if she doesn't do 20 or 30% of that work, none of it will be done. No one will be there to feed her, no one will be there to feed anyone else in the home. And while the son and the father can go and eat at they are earning money and that's why they can go and buy something for themselves, there's no one to even come and share food with the mother. There's no one to even give her a hot water bottle. And that is she actually needs caretaking of the level where someone can give her a hot water bottle for the pain she is feeling. She actually needs someone to clean up her bed some occasionally or make her bed for her occasionally. She actually needs someone to keep the kitchen clean, keep the bathroom clean. If because when you are having periods, your understand that your body is continuously flowing blood, but it is also a wound that is there inside your uterus. Your uterine cells are shedding, so it's like an open wound inside a woman's body when they are having periods. So when you have an open wound on your arm, like let's say you fell down or had a bike accident and you have a broken arm or a very big scratch on your hand or toe or foot, and or you have a broken arm and a huge injury on your hand that needed stitching, at that time also it is a slightly open wound and that's why they cover it up. And in periods we don't get to cover our open wound of, you can't stitch up your vagina or stitch up your uterus, right? So because you can't stitch up your vagina and uterus, the wound is still open. Even though you're wearing a pad, you still have exposure to germs in the outside environment. And because a woman has now exposure to germs in the outside environment, dirt in her home environment, any kind of other pollution in her home environment, if she is cranky, that is the reason why she's cranky. Because even if she doesn't realize that all these there are many women who don't realize it, that if their home is unclean, if their rooms are unclean, if their bathroom is unclean, if their kitchen is unclean, if the husband or someone is smoking and drinking in the home, the kind of negative energy that will be there, the energetic environment of the home, everything will be very off. Or if the husband and children in the home are watching a lot of nasty porn, again this energy of the home will be very bad. But while you are not realizing it that it harms your health, all of these things from physical things to spiritual things will be harming someone's health, you subconsciously will be picking it up that it is harming your health. And that's why only women will be very cranky and irritable and rude to their partners. If the partner has watched a porn movie and wants to have sex with her and she's either PMSing, like 2 days later she will have periods, she will have the PMS symptom of anger, rage, or volatility, because while when she is healthy, when her uterine cells are not breaking down or are not going to break down in a few days, while in her healthy status she can take the rough sex of a boyfriend, or she can take the some partly horrible nasty sex related things that mentally she can prepare herself for it just because she loves him. But on those period days she can't do it, because other days she's doing it gracefully for her partner. If the partner has nasty sex with her or inappropriately touches her or breaches some of her sexual boundaries, but on the period days, that's why when women so that is the sexual element related to when she's sexually getting disturbed and perturbed by the partner's energy. Then that is one element. The other element is emotionally and psychologically also, and energetically also, you can get disturbed by a partner or anyone else in their home who watches nasty porn. If they continuously watch nasty porn, that kind of energy that is generated from that porn also, that energy, dark energy, horrible energy will be there in the energetic system of the partner. So the partner touches you, or that energy of darkness is created in your life, at that time also you will feel very disturbed by it. If you are a balanced woman, sane woman, a woman who wants to stay healthy, you will not like it in your partner. So many a times when again women is during PMS, during periods, or a few days before periods, or during their relationship, when women are being rude to their partners, sometimes there is a valid, genuine health aligned related reasons that you are not in alignment with your partner. If both partners love watching same kind of porn, this mismatch will not happen. But if one partner is watching very gruesome porn and other doesn't like it at all and is a very pious kind of an individual, or goody two shoes type of an individual, there will be great mismatch, and how much ever you try, you will feel violated by the partner who is wanting nasty sex, which is what happened with my first relationship. So that energetically, sexually, psychologically, I used to keep feeling very manipulated by that partner and any other partner who has shown up at that level with me. So that is another problem. That will also lead to your depression. That will also cause you to stop doing certain chores when you are not able to take the pain of the nasty thing that is happening in the relationship, but you have no space. The partner doesn't have the emotional capacity, doesn't have the mental capacity to understand how their energy, how their choices impact someone else. So that is another reason why a woman might start distancing herself. Like if a woman is a shutting down kind of a woman, she'll just distance herself, keep herself quiet, shut herself in a room. She might go and go upstairs and pray in the prayer room if they have a prayer room, or they will shut themselves down with a book or something like that. But there are many other women who are not like that. They will shout at you, they will get stressed out, they will have anxiety. So you will either have a depression response or an anxiety response. The anxiety response happens to those women where they know that no one is, if they don't clean up the kitchen, they don't clean up the bathroom, no clean home environment will be there, and there is a direct microbial impact of those microbes in the kitchen, microbes in the bathroom, which will impact the woman's health when she is in period. So that's why only there are also many jokes men have made about wives, where wives 2 days before their periods, or they've observed these phases of their wives when the wives are cleaning up the whole home. They're cleaning up the bathroom, they're cleaning up the kitchen, they're cleaning up the dining table. They're going into a slight OCD, like they jokingly tell that it is a OCD mode when they are going in this cleaning mode and cleaning zones, when the reality is, the real reason why they're going in this cleaning mode and cleaning zones is because if they're going to have periods in a week, or periods in 5 days, or periods in 2 days, their body is gearing up for the release of all the toxins that will be released from the body, the dead cells that will be released from the body, the blood that will be released from the body, and the fact that because they'll be at a weakened status of health at that time, where open wound is now there inside their uterus, at that time that's why crucially important that home environment stays clean. So while consciously they don't know that this is what is happening to them, subconsciously if you are health attuned to your body's needs, your body will subconsciously push you towards doing these cleaning activities, or you will want to recruit your partner that come on, help me in doing it. And I saw a video literally where the husband saw the wife has started cleaning the kitchen and he ran away from the home. Why? Because he doesn't want to be recruited, and he's like, when he will be recruited, she will be shouting at him for not cleaning at her level. But that shouting is necessary. Why? Because if you don't clean mindfully according to the level at which the weakest person, like she will be the sickest person at the time when she will have periods. So the needs that she is preparing for, and this is how universe prepares a woman. Universe is always, the negative energy in a woman is preparing the women for, or anyone's negative energy, when that negative energy tells them to do something or not do something, that energy is there to prepare them for something that is going to inevitably happen in the future. The negative and balanced energy, the negative energy will give you the energy to do something very that is critically needed to be done, and the positive energy inside them will guide them into doing what are exactly the things that need to be done. Which is where, if the wife is balanced, she will know that if the table doesn't get cleaned in this way, like if the table has too much of, like, let's say you need to dilute your bleach 10 times or dilute your vinegar to clean a table, but the husband is not diluting the bleach, diluting the vinegar, he's just directly pouring it, you're going to cause another excess health harm by chemical pollution now in the home environment. Or if you are over cleaning and like you are over cleaning, meaning the wife needs now at that point of time during PMS time or this high energy time when she's been guided to clean, because there could be corners of the room where there are things that need to be cleaned that they haven't cleaned in a month or in a year. So those things she's now going to have the husband, obviously it's a husband's home also, so she should ask the husband to recruit him to do the work. But men being lazy, the who is the actually lazy one? The lazy one is the man. And at that point of time, if or he's the one who doesn't want to grow up from being a man child, that's why he's not realizing the crucial importance of why a woman is doing a certain thing in a particular way. And these kind of men children and women children have now grown up in my generation, in younger generation than me. They are all growing up like this, not realizing the why women behave in a particular way and what is the scientific reason. That scientific reason is completely lost by many people who do not realize that it is important, crucially important, to do cleaning of homes and in a right balanced way. Because if you do cleaning with excess chemicals, do cleaning with health misaligned products, again health harm will ensue than health benefit. Or if you do cleaning the easy quick fix way that men want to do it, it again leads to more health harm than, like, some men, I'm not saying all men, some women also want to do the easy quick fix way of, because I have those kind of women in my family who want all the easy routes rather than understanding and reading the label that it needs to be diluted, at the right levels. And even after dilution, if someone is really sick in your family, sometimes you also have to dilute it, not at the registered labels provided by the manufacturer, but at a even lesser level than what is provided by the manufacturer for someone to do that. And these are the things people have to wake up right now. Otherwise, in the case of this man, what was happening to the woman was she was getting pulled away from doing certain chores. Why? If she stopped doing her pest control chores or chores related to cleaning of the whole home, she might have been using a lot of chemicals that were impacting her cancer. Because most chemicals that we generally have normalized using in our daily life, in our home life, many of those chemicals do have carcinogenic potential, do have health harming potential. So if cancer is developing, organ damage is developing, slow chronic buildup of some toxins are developing in your body, in all these kind of health conditions, or your immune system is falling sick because of repeated exposure to the chemicals you use for cleaning, at that time you can't be you are not going to be able to do the normal cleaning activities in your home that you used to do for many years previously, but now you're not able to do. Your body is shutting down. So again, like subconsciously, how a woman's body before periods is telling her to start cleaning the home, and the husband is now finding out that's danger, she's going to PMS and shout at me. But take that one day of shouting, it's not that bad. If you take that one day of shouting, and if you don't want that shouting at all, if you run away, you will get that shouting. If you do lazy work, you will get that shouting. But if you mindfully listen and actually caringly listen to that partner and listen to why she is telling that this kitchen needs to be cleaned this way or bathroom needs to be cleaned this way, understand that you will help your partner if you listen. And also understand, in the future, if you're not helping your partner at all for many years, your partner could very well end up being the partner like this wife who was slowly developing cancer without anyone realizing that she was developing cancer. She herself didn't realize she was developing cancer, but her physical health status, her body, even though clean environment is required by her in the homes, but now she has reached that critical stage where she doesn't have the energy to keep a clean environment. And if she uses the energy to keep the clean environment, she is falling sicker and sicker, getting tired more. And that sickness is initially, in a cancer patient or a organ damage patient, will show up initially as a form of heavy kind of tiredness, abnormal kind of tiredness, where normal chores that you used to do regularly also would be very difficult for you to do. So that heaviness will happen, lack of ability to do the same level of work as in the past will happen. You might start having allergies to the products you're using, and the way to get out of it is indeed that if you're getting allergies to a product you're using, you have to switch to a product that is more health safe for you. If you are even high, and which is what I had to do when I was even hiring people to clean up my homes, when I am not able to clean up my homes at those time points and some heavy cleaning is needed, because let's say I wasn't in my home for 1 year and there's a lot of construction going on in my area, so dust pollution has accumulated in my homes. So in order to get that dust pollution now, because I was getting allergies to dust pollution and other pollution parameters, I needed someone to come and clean that home. I needed to hire someone to clean, because I'm getting allergies. Even if I was at the same physical status level as previously, the allergies would have stopped me from cleaning. But at that time I had allergies, plus the fact that I was not at the same physical health status to clean the home in a way I would have been able to clean if I was in a healthier physical health status. So I wasn't, so then I had to hire someone to clean it. But again, when I hired people to clean it, sometimes if they are not understanding the instructions properly, they are using the normalized chemicals that for them it is not causing any health harm, so they are regularly using some normal chemicals for cleaning, which then escalates my allergy, escalates my health harm, when both for the cancer that was developing in the body and the allergies that were developing, both were getting impacted really badly by the chemicals used by normalized cleansing things that we use in our home environment regularly, that globally many people use, but that now is harmful to a cancer patient, allergy patient, immune deficient patient, or whatever else is going on with the patient. Right? So I was in a patient health status. It's a different story that I couldn't get the complete diagnosis. The allergy related diagnosis I got, heightened inflammation and immune system problem is going on, that proof I had. So logically I know what is going on because I have studied healthcare. So that's why I knew all the healthcare elements. But those who are not aware, also this woman likely didn't study healthcare, but then also her body shut her down from doing cleaning activities or normal household chores, which were like, for me, like if she stopped cooking also, for me the same problem happened. If I stopped cooking, because going in front of the kitchen and boiling, like if I didn't know at that point of time why my universe was stopping me from cooking in the kitchen, but there were chemicals now there in the food, that when boiled, that chemicals fumes are coming up, or when fried, that chemical burn related fumes are coming up, which is toxic for me. So I was having breathing distress related problems because my cardiovascular system and circulatory system had been impacted. And again, cardiovascular system, circulatory system being impacted was indeed showing up amongst all my symptoms and all the blood reports that had been taken around that time. So I'm not talking mumbo jumbo stuff. This was all physically relatable to what was actually going on. So I was having breathing distress, and I was having also motility distress, right? Mobility was going down and down. When you're getting cancer, your mobility goes down. That's why many cancer patients get the disability tag, because their body is physically not able to do many things. They need a wheelchair, or many physical activities are greatly reduced when you have cancer. So because of that reason also, I couldn't stand for long hours. Anyways, I was not a very long, maximum 1 or 2 hours of cooking I have done in all my life, standing continuously in the kitchen. So and general cooking that I do is usually half an hour to 1 hour cooking, and if guests are coming, it is 2 to 3 hours of cooking. That is the maximum cooking I have done in my life. And I wasn't also a daily cook, because I used to live in US. I would cook one day, then eat that, and lived alone. So I would eat one day, eat it for 2 days. The same food that I have cooked on Monday, I will eat it on 2 days continuously. Or one day I will cook something at home, one day I will eat outside. That is how I've led a very bachelor like and student life in the past. So as a result of this, I'm not a daily cooking person, or even if daily I was cooking, maximum daily cooking is half an hour of cooking in the kitchen. But I was not able to even stand for half an hour in front of the gas. I was not even able to do boiling activities or frying activities in front of the gas, or standing up only and doing any chopping and normal functions was becoming tiring and tiresome for me. So I had to slowly stop doing it. The God only, or my body only, told me, you can't do it. When you can't do it, you can't do it. You can't, how much ever you push yourself to do it, if your physical health is completely going to be short by the activity you are doing, for whatever reason. It could be chemicals are there in your water, and boiling the water while inhaling it, you are inhaling the toxic chemical. It is aiding your cancer. That's why you are not able to breathe properly, and your body is saying, don't stand in front of the kitchen to do the cooking activity. And is the body screaming to you and saying it to you verbally? No, but it is subconsciously telling, this is dangerous, don't do it, rest. So instead she was resting. But because she's still a alive person, while she can't go and do cooking activities, she can't go and do cleaning activities, instead what is she doing? She's possibly watching blogs to see how to cook, how to clean, what are a simpler way of cooking and cleaning. And maybe she saw only from those blogs only, maybe she got the inspiration that because she's not able to cook anymore, let's hire a cook now for 2 days a week. Or because she's not able to clean anymore, once a month, once a week, let's hire someone to do some different kinds of cleaning activities. Or she's not able to shop anymore by herself, because going to the shop, that walking only to the shop, like usually if you were in a healthy status, shopping is such a fun activity. You can spend 3 hours in the mall. I've done that also in the mall, because I had free time, I had no boyfriend, I had no social life. So when I had those phases of life where I was hardly having any social life, I would spend 2-3 hours in a mall also, buying things that I need to buy for myself, buying gifts for people if their birthdays were coming up, and I had no issue doing that. But in recent years, because of the cancer developing in my body, even going to the mall for half an hour is painful for me. And if I can, I still have to sometimes go to the mall, just because if delivery item comes, sometimes delivery items are not up to par, and I have to keep returning those items if they are not up to par, or end up accumulating garbage if their delivery return policies are crap. So many a times I still have to go sometimes outside to buy something. But which day can I push myself to go? The day when I am physically, actually, literally capable of going. Otherwise, if I'm not capable of going, I can't go only, and I can't do something which, when my body is completely shutting down as a result of cancer and whatever else was going on with me. But to the outside world, in this same 4-5 years, when I have been struggling with allergies, inflammation, cancer, physical mobility related challenges, where even once I pushed myself to go to attend a friend's event, even though I was feeling not so great just one day before that event, but on the day of the event, God gave me some energy to at least go for, it was a 1 hour trip there, 1 hour trip back, 1.5 hour trip back, and another 1-2 hours spent there. So I spent at least 5 hours investing on this trip, and then 1 hour of dressing up. Despite that, I spent at least 5-6 hours doing this whole thing with them. But despite that, just because I was able to do it that day doesn't mean that the cancer was not developing in the body, doesn't mean that the sickness was not developing in my body, doesn't mean that that day if I spent 5 hours doing something, that rest of the other days of the year I didn't have motility problem where 15 minutes of some work was challenging to me, right? So this thing people don't realize about someone who's developing cancer, someone who's developing immune system problems or organ damage problems, or some debilitating disease where their functionality is reducing drastically compared to previously. And this guy, he was observing his wife's activities are going down, and he said he was trying to share some of those chores as well, but eventually he gave up and left the marriage because I think he was possibly wanting to sleep with her and rekindle their romance or whatever, thinking, because he thought that the wife is not interested in him anymore, which will also happen to you, that if your body is wrecked with pain of cancer, wrecked with challenging phases where cells in your body are dying, do you think you will enjoy sex at that time? At that time you may enjoy cuddling with a partner, but other than cuddling with a partner, everything else will be very, very unenjoyable for you. Another woman who is not maybe developing cancer, if she's developing menopause now and she's in her 50s and 60s, again she may enjoy cuddling with a partner, enjoy romance with a partner, but she may not enjoy having sex with that partner. But if you are at that age of a marriage with someone and they are distancing themselves from physical touch, men sometimes consider this, that if their wife is not physical with them, that means they take it as the wife is losing interest. And is it possible that some wives are doing that? Yes, definitely. But you have to discern, you have to cultivate discernment whether your wife is actually losing interest in you, or whether she is having a major life challenge going on with her that is causing her to, major life and health threat is going on with her that is causing her to, she just doesn't have the energy to give you what she has poured into you for maybe 10 years, 20 years, 30 years of the marriage. But right now if she is developing cancer, she can't pour that she doesn't have to pour inside of her. She is the one who at that time point in their marriage, if she was developing cancer, if she was developing immune system problems, if she was developing organ damage problems, if she was going through menopause, if all of these were going to together at the same time with her health, at those time points of her life, if she has poured a lot into their marriage, it is time for the man to now pour. And even if she hasn't poured a lot, if she was only a equitable partner or a partner who did only 60-70% of the household chores, it is now time for the husband to either take up that thing, or she was not lazy, that's why she delegated the parts which the husband can't do, and she's delegated it to the maids. But there are still things that she can't do, like if she is not able to get up from the bed, she's not going to be able to make up the bed anymore. She will have that depressed person's bedroom like look also sometimes. Her table where her paperwork is sitting, the table will be like that. The kitchen might end up becoming messy like that. The bathroom might end up becoming messy like that. For me, literally, because I was having a literal allergy issue where something was done to my water supply was polluted, or my maid had tampered with some of my cleansing agents, or both had happened. I don't know what was the exact thing that happened. And some of the things that happened led to, essentially, when I cleaned my clothes in my washing machine, my clothes were very irritating to the skin. Like it had escalated. I had earlier just minor allergy like skin scratching problems, sneezing allergy like problems, but this allergy was a very heavy allergy where my whole skin is now can develop potentially into rashes. I didn't break out into rashes because as soon as I found out my clothes are like that contaminated, I stopped using those clothes. I wore some other set of clothes that I had. But then my next set of clothes, I didn't know at that time point that something had been tampered with the water supply or soap or both. So again, I washed my clothes in that same water supply and soap. And then I had 2-3 batches like that. 3 times I did it, mistakenly kept washing and didn't realize that something suspicious was going on in my homes. And because I didn't realize something suspicious was going on, I had like 3 big batches of washing machine loads that now ended up accumulating with heavy chemical content in them that were heavily hypoallergenic towards on the skin. One time one friend came to my home to visit, and she also got same. Two friends actually came to my home after this incident, where I had managed. Despite all these things, there was a time point where, because this was heavily a toxic chemical, heavy allergic chemical, I had two rooms filled with now clothes that were just piling up. I couldn't fold them because it was partly allergic on the skin, and it was also giving some cardiac symptoms because it was possibly a cardiotoxin. And at that point of time, it was giving skin allergies, it was giving cardiac toxicity, and it reduced my functional ability along with the other things that were impacting my health. All of it combined together reduced my functional ability, slowly, step by step, in a span of a couple of weeks. And in that couple of weeks now, suddenly my house is now in a mess because I live by myself. There's no one to do these work for me. Even if I delegate someone to do some work, who will come to do this folding of your clothes? Most of the time you're folding, unless you're ultra rich and you have a full-time caretaker in your home, you are doing all your folding of your clothes. And if you fall sick, you can't do that folding of your clothes. And at that point of time, if you do have family who live with you or who live near you, and if they come, and which literally happened to me, I have narcissistic family, they came to my home, and as soon as they saw this pile of clothes in my home, they just assumed that I am some stupidity. They assumed, they asked no question as to why your clothes are piling up, why is your home looking like a mess, even though before that 2-3 times they had visited my home in US, in India, some of them, and they knew that my home doesn't look like that. And even though in their homes also, my bedroom didn't used to look like that unless I was depressed when living with them. But because they are narcissists, when you stay with narcissists, that is another reason. When if you stay with narcissistic family and partners, again your level of depression will be so high because they're constantly pulling your energy from you. So your level, and constantly taking from you things energetically, emotionally, expecting you to carry a burden of something which can be equitably carried by everyone. So when that is happening also, you get depressed, and your universe doesn't want you to keep giving to a narcissist. So obviously you will shut down and you will not do same level activity as you were able to do previously. So all of these things were happening. So whatever happened, my family being narcissist didn't help me. Then because cardiotoxic elements were there, or I had to just separate out those clothes, and I had literally for a time been in my life 90% of my clothes got destroyed because of these chemicals. And I had to, whatever else clothes I had, some of them were obviously, if 90% of the good clothes that you regularly wear or even wear for occasional functional uses are getting destroyed, all that is left is those kind of clothes that you don't wear often, simply because they might not be comfortable to wear, they might be loose fit, tight fit, not the right material to wear in the climate at which you are living, things like that. So I had literally no clothes, nothing, and even going to buy clothes was difficult for me because I was at that physical health disability status. And at that time point when I went to the doctor is chalking everything out to something else only. The cancer also got diagnosed in my previous video. One of the videos I told you that it was an accidental diagnosis that showed that I actually have cancer. And initially, because it was an accidental diagnosis, I also believed what the doctor is saying, but some other further tests was guided by the universe, and I did those tests simply because I was still not getting well despite whatever treatment protocols the doctors had given. And also because preventative care was also not completely causing the recovery, obviously, because if I have got now cardiotoxin, toxic elements in my body, and other kind of toxic elements have been absorbed by me, inhaled by me in my body, and I need treatment for those poisoning. But if the doctor is unaware that this is going on, doctor is not ready to listen to me what is actually going on with my health, doctor doesn't credibly understand that some people who from healthcare can have some other additional information that the doctor doesn't have about something going on in their area, locality, then in all these cases they will ignore the patient health status, they will ignore the categorize something that is a cancer developing in the body as something else, which is what happened for me. It was inflammation and cancer was developing in the body, but it was categorized as not as allergy. Also allergy categorization was done by me because I was constantly in a heightened allergy state. but the categorization related, and there was one doctor who categorized a chemical poison as a allergy for me in the past, and I'll make a video on that and post that video later. But the thing was major things related to even with allergy related symptoms, many doctors are not aware that breathing symptoms can also be allergic symptoms if hypoallergenic substances are there in microparticulate matter in your environment. Like if mold is there in your homes, pesticides are there in your homes, fiber particles from fabrics are there in your home, and they are all causing you to you have inhaled them, you will have respiratory tract related allergy problems, cardiovascular related allergy problems manifest as well. And the doctors here don't know how to treat those things in a patient, or even listen to a patient when the patient knows this is my cause of allergy, but they are still not ready to give the right treatment just because it doesn't fit their belief system of what the patient is saying is happening to them. So whatever it is, at that point of time when the cancer was mistakenly via a error diagnosed, but it was a real diagnosis only. Problem is because the right questions hadn't been asked, they didn't realize that it is the right diagnosis. I also didn't realize it is the right diagnosis until a few months later when I did some additional tests which pointed that diagnosis which had said that some cancer was developing in my body could potentially be a right diagnosis by them. Only thing is because the sample from which that diagnosis was gathered was not matching their mental image of like if you have blood cancer has to happen when blood sample has been drawn. But if you think that a blood sample was not drawn, how am I seeing blood cancer? And that's why you are confused. I can't do anything about it if you don't ask me that there could have been potential blood contamination, or if you didn't ask and confirm with the doctor who withdrew the sample that even though it was technically supposed to be a nodule sample, but along with the nodule sample, blood sample was also potentially extracted in one of the slides. So that's all she needed to do to confirm that it is. And is it possible that are all patients only going to have one potential cancer develop in the body, or are there some patients who can have two cancers simultaneously coming up, one being a benign condition and the other being a actually active cancer condition, right? So all these things are something doctors have to now also understand. But while doctors have to understand this, at the family level, at the home level, family members who live with those people, roommates who live with those people have to also understand this is what is going on when someone is functionally not able to do the same things that they used to do 10 years previously, 5 years previously, 4 years previously, why their body is shutting down and preventing them from doing an activity that they used to normally do in the past. And yes, it is possible out of the 10 activities, like I told you that making bed is my problem zone, right? So obviously but even though making bed is my problem zone, I do like to keep my kitchen clean, I do like to keep my bathrooms clean, I do like to keep my home clean, I do like to fold my clothes and put them in the drawer. If they are not folded in a drawer, I do like to keep them up hanging in a hanger. At least these minimum things I used to do earlier, but I was not able to do when a whole pile of clothes have piled up where I do not have clean clothes at all in the home, or the clean clothes that I do have are very uncomfortable to wear because they might be wrong size right now for me, or clothes I have only one clean cloth, but again if I wash them in that polluted water supply, it will again become unclean. So like that, slowly a whole pile of clothes happened in my home where I didn't have chemical free clothes that will not escalate my health symptom. And when there's no chemical free clothes, that is and I very few chemical free clothes are there in my home at that time, I was literally at a point of time existing with only 2-3 sets of clothes, or maximum 5-6 sets of clothes, 2-3 home sets and 2-3 sets of clothes outside home life. I was literally living like a poor person because I just didn't have the energy to go, and who is going to buy clothes for me, who is going and buying clothes for me, who is going and buying food when people in my home are not even even able to buy food for me. People in my home are not even ready to reduce the chemical content in the home environment that are escalating my symptoms. People in my life are not ready to investigate that water pollution could be happening in the homes. They are not ready to investigate that there is some problem in the home environment that needs to be checked and worked on. I had no choice but to just live wherever I can live, wherever I can live with the least bit of work impacting other people's lives. And I also went on a tour also, whenever I got into a slightly better health status. I also was going around in India trying to find a place where lesser pollution was there, so that even if I have cancer, even if I have some cardiotoxin in my body that needs to be removed, I need to first find a place where I can stably stay at home without being abused, without being maligned, without being considered as lazy, without being presumed that I'm going through depression, when it was not depression but lack of ability to do some functions that was taking the priority at that time. Depression had by then I had healed many of my depression elements, and the depression that was happening was simply a sadness that I felt betrayed, that there is no one in my life who understands that my lack of functionality has multiple reasons right now. Even though I kept saying that this is the reason why, to the people who are there, who are within listening area, for them I have verbally said this is the problem. To the people who are not within the listening area but can make a phone call, in phone calls also I have said it. To the people who are in social media contact, there also I have stated it. How many places does a woman need to say that she is really sick and she really needs help before people will understand that the person who is capable of doing many things by herself, if they are saying that I need help, there is a genuine, deeper, grander or wider set of reasons for why they are saying they need help. But I have done that so many times with so many people, and only with some rare strangers when I was traveling were there actual strangers who understood that when a woman has period, why she is screaming the way she is screaming, or who understood that when a woman, and most people don't understand when a woman has periods why she is screaming when she has periods. 99% of the population, even the women who have periods, don't understand it, because if they do not have the same intensity of period pain as a person who's screaming and writhing in pain, they will not understand it. Or if they are not the personality to scream when they have a problem, they will not understand it. But there are some people who have to shout out for their troubles, because if they don't shout out, even 10% help is not coming. Like when they are saying it softly, gently, asking for minimum help, bare minimum place someone can help them, then also they are not getting that help. At that time there is nothing left to do except shout, or nothing left to do except vegetate and die. These are the only two choices you have left, which is what I was doing for 4 years. I simply vegetated, and of course and I was very highly active, writing about my experience online, speaking about my experience online, when I had no physical ability to get up from the bed to do anything, but my arms were still able to slightly have some muscular function. I typed everywhere. When I had a slightly better health status, that some of the toxins has now detoxed from the body, because time has passed and my body naturally has detoxed some of it. Or when I went traveling, I went to little less polluted areas than Mumbai, so that helped in natural detoxification. Then when I came back again, at that time I had the physical voice to speak. So when I had the voice to speak, and by then I understood all the different elements that were impacting my health. So slowly I have now started talking about that in both my web pages. One is more related to physical health related issues. This web page is about spiritual issue, but this thing is also an ascension symptom, because this is a karma related to ascension related problem, and karma related to how you are with your family related issue that is showing up as a ascension symptom, like cancer or a severe illness. Because if you either yourself find out all the things that are needed for you to supportively take care of your health and go to a healthier health status, where only all you have to do is find the right doctor, find the right diagnosis, get the right medicine and care from them, there are women who have gone through this experience journey of ascension, where they went to a doctor, had cancer recovery, they went to a doctor, had recovery for something else that was going on, some women went through 10 doctors, 100 doctors before some doctor found out what was going on with them. Because there are women who have asked repeatedly for help and gone to wrong sources multiple times before they actually found the right source that gave them the right diagnosis and the right treatment and the right treatment protocol for them to now feel better. And in the meanwhile, what are those women suffering from? If you were a cancer patient, many cancer patient, like how this husband didn't realize his wife was, husband doesn't realize, like in the story also, the way he presented the story, he's actually blaming the wife, that why didn't my wife tell me that she had cancer. He says that apparently they got separated after all the problems they were having in the marriage. He assumed that she is fallen out of love, so he walked out of the marriage possibly. And then when they were separated, after the separation, few weeks or months after, his wife's friend comes and tells him that why did you have she possibly just gave him a he found out from the wife's friend that the wife has cancer now. And then when he went back to the wife asking, why didn't you tell me you have cancer, she said that whatever she said, that is also very true of many women. If for 8 understand this, if I get cancer diagnosis today from a doctor or 2 years back from a doctor, that doesn't mean that 2 years back cancer started in my body, or today cancer started in my body. Cancer started in my body the moment some carcinogenic chemical entered my body and started wrecking my health. So which day that carcinogenic chemical entered my body, I can't tell. It could have been 10 years back, 5 years back. Some of them I can tell, like pesticides. If I know the information that pesticides can cause cancer, or leaching of chemicals from plastics can cause cancer, or some other toxin in my home environment, work environment can cause cancer. If I know that data, being a healthcare professional, yes, I can estimate that like with my thyroid related pre-cancer condition, I knew that radioactive poisoning can lead to cancer. That's why I reduce phone radiation related things. And the moment I reduce phone radiation related things, immediately, slowly, this cancer's pre-cancer state has started healing by itself. And I'll find the proof for someone if someone wants a real proof that I don't have any nodules or I have healed nodules. But when right now, what is my primary health issue right now? I have many primary health issues that need to be resolved, but one primary health issue that is needing to be resolved is not something that I can feel right now, that the pain is gone, that the problem is gone, but something that which is still existing as a problem, which currently needs resolution from the right doctor who is willing to trust my knowledge, who is willing to trust that because for me, why am I not going and doing the cancer diagnosis, even though many criteria show that I was in possibly some stage of cancer or a pre-cancerous stage, is because of the other cancer, not the thyroid related one, but the other cancer. The reason why I haven't gone to a doctor to find that information is a logical reason, because if I go also, but if in my home life there is no one to take care of me in simpler things like keeping a bed clean, or keeping a kitchen clean, or keeping a bathroom clean, or bringing clean quality food at home, do you think I am going to get any caretaking? Even will there be any point in me going and getting an expensive treatment from someone? So I am not going, because cancer treatments are expensive. There are very few cancer treatments that are free. Secondly, if I don't have the physical health status only to get up one day, and even if I know that there is some place in the world where free cancer treatment is available or low cost cancer treatment is available, even for me to travel to that area, do I have to have some physical health status to travel there? Then I was doing some traveling to different parts of India. That's why only, because I also saw my cancer was, or whatever else was going on with me, my health status was getting escalated by the hotel conditions, by the local conditions of those places as well. The days when some excess chemical usages are going on in that area. So for me to whatever is needed for me to be supported in the right way to recover from this cancer, I'm trying to figure out a place where that circumstance is actually present. The places which are accessible to me right now given my monetary and socioeconomic status, right? So that's why I haven't taken the diagnosis, even though I 90% know that cancer is likely there. Even then I have not gotten that diagnosis, simply because I don't have a clean place to go to. I don't have many times clean clothes to wear because of water pollution, or the clothes that are there because of the water pollution. Even if I buy some clean clothes from the market, those clothes are also not clean because there are heavy dyes in the clothes that we get in the market in recent years. So I'm having a terrible time even figuring out how to solve my problem at the functional level right now. And I have been having that problem for 4 years, where I have sought help from the sources that I could seek help from. And despite that, after delegating work, also seeking help, also assigning money also for the places where I can spend money to find out whether something good can emerge from there, when it didn't emerge. And if I am a woman like that woman who died now, the only reason she has died is because she also did many things the 8 years or 4-5 years before her separation that she went through, or 2-3 years before her separation, when she went through these challenges. If there's no family, no friend who understands why she is shutting down like this, there is no other option for her to shut down and die than recover from that cancer. What will she do recovering from cancer if her boyfriend is already, or her husband is already dating someone else, already planning on dating and marrying someone else? So what will she do recovering from that cancer? Or if the most her friend can do is give a talking to the boyfriend and that's it, or the husband and that's it, what will she do after that? There's nothing to be done. Or if, let's say, there is no family also, and the reason why she was shutting down and all she was doing was watching phone and videos on phone or computer, is because obviously she doesn't even have any family also who care about her enough to ask her how you're doing, what kind of day you're having, for her to express. Because she also said that many a times her family has assumed that she is lazy. So if her family is assuming she's lazy, means her family also doesn't understand her at a level at which she needs to be understood. So they don't even talk to her. Everyone is assuming she's becoming lazy, rather than understanding that she was actually slowly declining in health. And those years were the years for someone in her life to observe that she's declining in health, and after declining in health, some right intervention to emerge for her, the intervention that she doesn't have to bring. Because if you are falling sick, you are not the one supposed to solve your health problems. But she did try to solve her health problems by recruiting other people to do some of the jobs that she can pay for them to do, by not doing the work that her body is telling that now if she does that work it will be harmful. So she did try to stall her cancer for a while, but the moment now the husband has also gone away and she's living by herself, her recovery chances are going to be less, and her dying is a mercy for her actually. Because that husband, even though he said in the 2 days before her death he spent time with her, that 2 days is not enough. He had 2 years or 4 years to observe when she was actually falling sick. And when he's saying that why his wife didn't tell him that she had cancer, she found out about the cancer 2 days, few days or few weeks after they had separated. But even if she found about the cancer few weeks after they had separated, what will she do going back to a husband who never observed how seriously sick she was? So because you don't get a diagnosis of cancer on month 1, and 10 months before that not have any symptoms related to physically not being able to even walk a mile or do a normal, many of the normal chores have shut down from you. And so that's why not telling her husband wouldn't have changed her outcome, because the 4 years, 5 years, very rarely, in very rare cases, it might have changed her outcome. But if for 4, 5, 10 years she had been continuously now going through all these challenges which were adding on to her cancer problems, and no one understood she is having cancer problem, there's not enough real love in her life, there's not enough deep meaningful love. Because real love and deep meaningful love makes you observe the pain of another human being, makes you observe that the other human being needs your help, makes you observe that the other human being is not able to carry the burden that they were able to carry normally, not even burden but something that was normal for them to do has now become a burden. That is when, if you have deep, meaningful, real connections, that is when people observe it, or if there are empathetic people in your environment, they will observe it. And then in my previous videos, why do you think I have talked about Ted Bundy like sociopathic people, is also because this is another factor that impacts the health of people and women, especially women and children, when they are dependent on someone, and they are not only, this husband is only simply didn't observe that his wife was falling sicker and sicker in front of him, whereas there are many men or many other spouses or partners or fathers or siblings who are there in the world. A person is falling sick in front of them, they actually observe that this person is falling sick, but for them it is an enjoyment, because they are like, now they can ascribe that that person is a lazy person or that person is an incompetent person, so they will form all these ideas about that person who is falling sicker and sicker, less able to do the normal functions, and for them it is a enjoyment seeing their love, because of possibly jealousy. So that's where, when I'm saying this is a ascension symptom related challenge of the karmic kind, because if they are karmic people in your life, people who don't really care about you, the one who doesn't even observe is one level of people who will not care about you. They will observe you are failing, but they will not ask the question, why is she failing in her normal functions, and how can I help in helping her with her normal functions. That is where true care lies, that is where true ascension and awakening related lessons lie. But if you are the more able to do things kind, and you are not able to bring more to the relationship at the time point in a relationship when it was your time to bring that, you have failed the karmic lessons associated with that relationship, or you are not in the ascension, you have by default then not going to be in the ascension journey anymore, because that was your point of time to be in the ascension journey, be in the awakening journey, to awaken to the fact that if your wife was 60%, 70% doing all household chores, when she's not able to do it, it was your turn to do it. Or for you to wake up, if there is a husband and a teen son or a 20-year-old son, it is time for them to observe where they have to step in now as a caretaker of a person who is falling sick. That is the thing that you were supposed to do. Or you are a good, all your life you have said you love your sister, but when your sister is telling can you do these things that are harming me, but you're not able to do the simpler things in life and find the right alternatives to ensure that harm will not arise when a sick person is there in the home, then do you really care about them? That is another ascension related awakening some people have to go through. So those who have the narcissistic or those kind of disorders where narcissism is there, a narcissist doesn't want to change their life around anyone, so they can't take care of someone who is severely sick. That is a problem zone. Munchausen by proxy will fake your illness, like you have a real illness, but they'll keep telling you have some other illness and not allow you to get treatment for the actual illness you have, as well as not and keep talking about some fake illness to worsen your health status. That is what a Munchausen by proxy person can do. A factitious disorder person also, if they are motivated to gain money from you, you don't know that you have money lying around somewhere, but your parent or sibling knows that there is money in your name that they can have if you die. They will also facilitate your death by ensuring that right help doesn't reach you. Then if there is a person who is antisocial personality or sociopathic personality, again they have those antisocial personality related behavioral traits where right help will not reach you. If they are simple autistic person, again an autistic person has a very sometimes hard time changing their patterns into whatever they have been doing. For them to slowly change their patterns is a difficult thing. So all of these things, now if you have partners like that, family like that, healthcare providers like that, who are not understanding that something out of the blue is happening, 2-3 illnesses might be happening, a very severe form of illness is developing in someone, or that they do not have support system in the family life or right conditions in the family and home environment to sustain that person's health, those people eventually do shut down and then eventually end up dying. So this thing related to these two women's scenario, when the first women's video where her room is just simply because she's depressed, it is like that. Understand that sometimes a woman's room can also look like that, not when she's depressed, not when she's having PMS or period related symptoms, not when she's hitting menopause related symptoms, but it can not when she's in a abusive relationship and got out of some abusive marriage, but it can also happen when their health is falling sick. And it can also happen to a man also for some physical health status related reasons, where they will not be as engaged with their partner. It can also happen to a man when they are also going through some challenging work life related circumstances, where they have lost their job and don't know when they will get their next job. At those time points, or a combination time point when their body is falling sick and they got the job loss because they were going to fall sick at such a level that they wouldn't have been able to sustain their job in the right way. So that's why universe already was preparing them for a job loss, and after they have got the job loss, now they have to think financially wisely also, where because they have a job loss they can't just go, because there are some people, as I said, this is also part of ascension. Why? Because if you have job loss, like, and I have also had job loss, so if you have had job loss, or I didn't get kicked out of from my job, but I voluntarily had quit from my job, so I don't have a active earning life. So because I don't have a actively earning finances at that time point of I'm just relying on fixed deposits and other assets, right? So at that time point, now when you are going through that financial crunch, and then you are universe tells you have a very severe disease, which now you don't have insurance, or whatever insurance you have may not be able to cover for it. At that time, do you have to now seek also this is part of the ascension journey of some people, to seek the right therapy rather than spending money on futile therapy, money on multiple therapies which may not work for you. What needs to work is the right therapy, right supportive care. And if you find that, if the right set of all elements necessary to your health comes up for you, you will survive through it. But if the right set, which some of these women who went through these things survive through it. But if you can't find it, then there are people who are not able to survive, who then end up dying, because right systems of care, right systems of people to give them the care, right conditions of home life, hospital life needed to address this centuries issues with cancer and other diseases, if they are not prevalent in a healthcare system, not prevalent in a home system, or even a hotel where you might have to stay when you travel out of town to get treatment for your disease. All of these are the places where healthcare needs to be revamped, changes need to be made, but can't be made if people are not even aware or ready to understand what part they are playing in, where they are being unmindful, where they are not understanding when a partner is falling sick. So in the man's case, the wife, it was not the wife's responsibility to tell him she had cancer. It was his responsibility to observe when he was her partner, to observe that she had something serious going on with her health. And not just observe it, but ask her doctor, ask her, are you sick? Or because let's say anyways, I don't want to discuss their individual specific life, but this has literally happened with me also. There's not a single person who has asked me what is going on, or if there were very few rare people who did after 4 years ask me what is going on with you. When I have explained to them what is going on, it is a tip of the iceberg of continuous things that are, and once your life starts falling apart, there is also a round effect of continuous effect of things falling apart. Because if I don't have clothes to wear, and I'm wearing continuously dirty clothes, plus I have illness, or I'm wearing chemically contaminated clothes, plus I have illness going on which are getting worsened by the chemicals, plus now I go to a doctor who will give me only chemicals only to treat me, and also those doctors who are not aware that chemicals used to treat a patient sometimes can have side effects. Will I get right treatment, or just one chemical attack after another will increase the toxicological load on my body, and I'll eventually die? Right? That is going to be the most likely outcome. When will that trajectory change? That trajectory can only change if, when I have no clothes, the day I am healthy, I am able to go and purchase some clean clothes. But can I go and again purchase clean clothes if they are always chemically infused or microbially infused with something? I can't. Again, I have to keep searching until then to find some set of clothes where cleanliness truly exists in those clothes, or less chemical content is there that is not escalating my chemical poisoning related health issues. Then if I go to a hospital also, if that hospital doesn't realize that their setup is now toxic, because whatever is toxically happening in the globe related to chemical poisoning, microbial and chemical impact, those things, when not checked at the right level, when not understood at the right level, those things are also escalating as a slowly developing but insidious problem. And only any kind of insidious problem can only be resolved when the right solution comes up for that insidious problem. In the case of there's another lady who talked in a talk show, and many comments in that lady's video you will see everyone is thinking her husband is likely having an affair, whereas I intuitively felt, based on the way in which he's behaving, because he didn't really want her to leave the marriage also, which also a toxic partner can do. So I am not saying that it is not possible that whatever other people are saying, that may be not her thing as well, that it could be possible he might have had a flirting or affair with someone. It is possible, but it is also equally likely that he has maybe facing some work related issues that is causing him some great stress that he's not able to express to his wife. That could be happening. Or he has had he's also slowly, like how that wife was slowly declining in health. The reason why he's consuming a lot of alcohol, not participant in the regular child caretaking activities, not engaged with the wife, sleeping in a different room, can also be because he could also be developing cancer, he could also be developing organ damage, he could also be developing some severe illness in his body, which again his body is not able to verbally say something is wrong, but by the choices he's making, he's not able to now actively engage in sexual activities, he's not able to actively engage in having the energy after coming back from home to participate equitably in the home life. So for that lady also, if she manages to see my video, I will suggest her to check out with the husband if he's having some health issue, is he having a emotional affair, or because the way he responded also made me feel that there are two people who will respond that way. The person who is not having an affair also will be like, I have too many other problems, do not even test me about that when I'm not that is not my problem. That's why he shut down the wife when she talked about the affair question. But so it could be that he is having work related problems, finance related problems, he did maybe some financial dealings which led to a financial loss, he has found out maybe that he could potentially have some disease in the future that needs operation, and but he doesn't have the money to pay, because the way he's talking about finances related issue, you're taking my money and all these things that he's talking about, he's getting stressed out. And she also is not working right now, she's studying and doing other things at home life. So all of these could mean that his health issue might be getting neglected simply because they don't have the finances to take care of his health issue, and he's not a open enough man, he's not the modern man, because he has to understand he also chose this ascension journey of a life path like that because he was supposed to be in a marriage with a partner where he should be discussing these things, and it is possible that he should be the one who should be resting at home while his wife is working outside the home. He should be the one getting rest at home and engaging in activities with the kids while the wife is doing outside homework. That is what maybe next needs to unfold in their marriage, but can't unfold unless the man realizes that he needs to not work, the wife needs to work, he needs to take rest, maybe because if he's, let's say, in construction or some chemical factory related work, or he's driving long distances for work and he's developing cancer or organ damage or some other immune system disorder, in all these cases also the reason why he's so tired is because his body is slowly shutting down from the chemical impact and environmental impact of his work conditions, or some psychological impact if he's a computer science related or some online work related work where physically some challenging exposure is not happening, but chemically and biochemically still toxic exposures can happen even when you're working in close quarters in a computer lab, if the computer lab is not maintained in the right way. So whatever your profession, environmental conditions of someone's profession can impact their health, and they had moved into a new city, so the environmental change into a new city's related conditions could be also impacting his health, which is possibly shutting him down. rather than a affair, which is a possibility she should explore in that marriage. Because if that is what is going on, then there is maybe they are supposed to be a couple who are supposed to slowly eventually shift their patterns, where he cuts down his work hours, she makes her work hours more, or they figure out that given the current status of his health and other circumstances, how they can become a different, financially more savvy family than what they were previously. Things like that needs to now, which is the karmic lesson, ascension related lesson, finance related lesson, social life and family life related lesson, and change of this century that is meant to unfold in some families, where the families are ready for this work, but they can only do this ascension related high, and this is high level ascension related work that they have to do, but they can only do it when the opportunity is given for them, because the wife has observed that the husband is distant, same way like the husband had observed that the wife was distant and not engaged in normal activities. Now in both the cases, if you're assuming that the partner is disinterested in you, you're failing to do the high level ascension work that is possible. So the husband in that scenario has failed, and because he failed, the wife now passed away. Because, and not just he just didn't fail, it was when a woman is sick, anyone associated with her was supposed to help her with her sickness. Her friends, her family, her social group, her work group, her husband, everyone was supposed to be involved. The husband was supposed to be more involved, because the husband is spending majority of his life with her, or he's meant to be spending majority of his life with her. But the person who is meant to be spending majority of the life with the partner is not putting majority of the investment needed to take her towards recovery, then she can't go towards that. Along with, not just simply, if the husband simply didn't do it, but she had other people in her life like friends, family, co-workers, she would still recover, she would have recovered. But for her, unfortunately, multiple people were not ready to help her recover or understand her problem at the level at which it needed to be understood and resolved. That's why she passed away. Same with this husband also, if some health issue is going on in his life, or a combination of health plus work pressure plus other issues are going on in his life, it could be a combination problem. But if they again don't get resolved in the right way, again that man's trajectory also could lead him towards a worse health, worse life than a better life that will ensue if the people involved in his life, like his children, can do a little, like if they were very spoiled children, he was a very generous father and he spent lakhs of a lot of money in their schooling, they used to go to private school. But if he needs to cut down his budget, that the children now need to go to a public school, maybe that change needs to happen. Or if the wife's business, she's running two small businesses, but instead of running two small businesses, if one of the business is bleeding money, it is necessary maybe to halt that business for a while, so that he can manage his finances given the current conditions of their life. So he could be having financial issues, because of which he could be shutting down. It could be finance plus health issue. It could be the subconscious health issue which is shutting down, which consciously has not right now come to a place where a diagnosable condition has come up, but in future a diagnosable condition may come up, like how it did for the wife. So because this is how our body is, our body starts shutting down, our job or other things also start wrapping down a little the moment God knows or universe knows a major health incident is going to happen in your future. Universe will shut you down from doing many things that will be overwhelming, overtaxing, or much more health harming than it already can be, given the disease you will be having. So I hope this made sense. Anyone has questions, comments, please post comments. I will try to discuss this topic in a different way again in some other videos, in case people have questions and are confused about what I have said here. But please, for that, give me some feedback about this video. Thank you very much. Have a great day.